Hey y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now tuned into Black Girl Therapist in the Wild. I have my unicorn goblet once again. It is filled with, what is it filled with? Vodka and cran grape juice. And this is a little segment show that I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. Today we are sipping and reviewing I May Destroy You, Season 1, Episode 9. Make sure I get the name right because I fucked the name up last. Social media is a great way to connect, and this episode had me up and down emotionally. You know that trauma can fuck people up mentally, emotionally, how they treat other people, how they treat themselves, but seeing it in the process, I usually get clients like after years of having gone through shit and their emotions have deteriorated and shit, but seeing it like acutely in the process. I felt some type of way about this episode. I don't know why, I just felt like Bella got some shit going on. And, she got it together by the end, I feel like, but the girl needs to get her shit together. And the whole episode I was just like, please go to therapy. Please go to therapy. Please see your therapist. Don't do this to yourself, to your friends, to your life. So anyway, she got back from Italy, nigga. It's been a month since Italy, nigga, and the fiasco where she broke into his apartment and he almost shot her. She was wrong. He was wrong, but he was wronger because if she had took one step over his doorstep, he would have shot her. Then there would have been a dead body. Then what? You're bigger and stronger than her. You're going to shoot, So, I don't care. I didn't say she wasn't wrong, but, because y'all was in the comments talking about, well, she should have broke into, of course she should have broke into his shit. When you go through trauma, you just be making these rash, fucked up decisions based off your emotions. Like I said in the last video, the last episode, you make these stupid ass decisions because you want the quick relief. You want to quickly relieve yourself of the emotional pain that has come upon you based off of your trauma. And so you go back to what's familiar, or you go to whatever's quick, like drugs and shit like that. So Arabella, in the beginning of this episode, is sitting up in her bed just staring. She's just staring like this. And her roommate, Ben, walks by and, he asks her, like, are you okay? And she just looks at him and smiles, puts the mask on like she's fine. And she goes, yeah, I'm fine, I'm great, whatever, things are wonderful. And he tells her happy Halloween. It's Halloween, y'all. And, she tells him, you too. Yes. Then he walks away. And we have this grudge-looking monster character. I believe it's her in a black wig hovering over her bed. And she's looking at it. Then she looks back down to her phone. And this is how we see that she has started to use social media as an addiction. And she may possibly be having hallucinations or something going on because, some random grudge. And I looked this up. There's been studies that say, PTSD can lead to psychosis and hallucinations and things sometimes. And it doesn't have to do with, schizophrenia or psychotic depression. It could just happen. And it's a higher level of PTSD. It's a higher mental health issue, but it can happen. So that could be why she has some grudge monster hovering over her bed. Or maybe it's just a mental visual representation of how she feels about herself inside. Whatever it is, it's creepy and it's weird, but it makes, it's Halloween, so let's be scary. Assuming this came out in England, Britain, during the time of Halloween, I'm assuming, I don't know. And then she's looking at her social media and she's looking at one of her rants. Apparently she goes on social media and rants about social justice, rapists, things like that. And she is reading the comments, and there are just people messaging her. Some person messaged her about the address. Here's the address to my rapist. Why don't you dox him and all this? No, the doxing message came later, I think. It's just send an address to the rapist and all this other stupid shit. So she is just sitting there reading all these messages, living vicariously through these people on the internets, and feeling like she needs to be their savior, but at the same time it's very triggering for her, and she is crying because it's so upsetting inside, but she's not addressing those internal emotions. She's just saying, I need to save these people. This is going to be my soothing balm over this giant gash inside of my chest. Yes. It's like putting like a little band-aid, little tiny band-aid, like the circular ones, over like a stab wound, and saying it's healed. I've healed. It's bleeding a little bit, but it's fine. I'm fine. I'm helping people. So this is her addiction, and I didn't want it to spiral into this, but this is her addiction, is social media. Yes. She is addicted to social media. She is addicted to seeing her rant and wishing she were really that person, Next, we go to Arabella and Terry at the hospital. Arabella has got a CAT scan because she wants to prove to the world that she's not crazy when you can't even see symptoms of depression in the brain from a CAT scan. you know. But whatever, this is her proof. The doctor says she's fine, that she doesn't have any abnormalities in her brain. And then she immediately goes on social media and starts ranting about how, see, you motherfuckers thought I was crazy, but the doctor gave me a CAT scan and said I was fine, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then she puts Terry on the video, and she's like, and Terry looks done. She doesn't know how to deal with this shit. She just is trying to be there for her friend. I think it's a mixture of being there for her friend and guilt at this point. I'm still side-eyeing Terry, because you don't just tell people to leave when you're blackout drunk. I'm side-eyeing her, but I don't feel as upset with her as I did before because of this episode. See, I'm just going to wait episode by episode, because I feel like shit just keeps evolving in the personalities of the characters and who they are as people. So I'm just going to wait now. I'm just going to wait. Still side-eyeing her. Still feel like if Arabella found out Terry told that nigga to leave, they wouldn't be friends anymore. So yeah. Not that it's Terry's fault. That nigga shouldn't have left regardless of what Terry said. If that was the case of what really happened, who knows what happens now? We don't even know who raped her. Who knows? But anyways, the doctor is going on to explain to her that, once she gets off social media, she's doing like little live videos here and there and shit, ranting about, oppression and rape and all sorts of shit. That she has high blood pressure, and because she is Afro-Caribbean, which she isn't, she's African, and she immediately goes on a rant about how she's not Afro-Caribbean. I think he just means people of African descent. She has a susceptibility for, and I'm not saying he wasn't racist, but she is just popping off at the mouth. And the level of upsetness that she had didn't necessarily fit the situation. I mean, I would have just told the doctor, I'm not like, Afro-Caribbean. What are you talking about? That's all I would have basically said. She just is going off about, this is racist, you're assuming shit, on her little high horse again. And the doctor's like, well, you still have a susceptibility for kidney disease. You have high levels or whatever the fuck in her kidneys, and the high blood pressure is not going to help. Arabella just walks outside and she starts dancing and prancing around on social media and posting more shit. The doctor is talking to Terry about Arabella's medical shit. I'm assuming there is a release or something, because that's not how that type of shit works unless you're family. In the hospital anyway. So, and even then, if the patient is well enough to not provide information. You're not supposed to provide it. They have to be there, I would think. I don't know. You can't just be telling. Okay, whatever. He's telling Terry about her medical information and saying that she has high levels in her kidneys and she needs to stop, and he's asking her like what has she been doing that has brought her to these levels in her kidneys. And Terry's like, well, she stopped smoking, but she vapes, and the doctor's like, oh, well, that could be a part of why she has high blood pressure. Terry just stops him. She's kind of enabling some of Arabella's behavior. She thinks that anything and everything Arabella is doing that makes her appear happy is okay for her, when in reality, no, because she could be doing crack cocaine right now and appear very happy, but obviously that's not okay for her. She's having a similar frantic, anxious, spouting off at the mouth random shit as somebody that would be on some shit. So, we need to back up and say, why are you so anxious? Why are you so frantic? Why do you need to always be on social media? But we're not doing that. Terry's like, well, I think the stress is coming from her phone and not from vaping. I think it's coming from both. Both causes, stress. The other is a chemical that can fuck your system up and shit. So it's together. It's a package. But Terry's telling the doctor, no, that's not what it is. Vaping is not a part of why she has high blood pressure. She is a social justice warrior on the cell phone talking about rape and degradation and injustices every day. So I think that's what's causing her to have high blood pressure, because she's a hero. Just low-key kind of enabling her to do fuck shit, even though she knows she's not really talking about shit. There you go. So then we see Arabella with Kwame outside on the street. Arabella is scrolling through social media, getting her social media fix. And Kwame is rewatching a sex video that he did with some guy off of one of the websites, Grindr or whatever. And so they're both getting their fixes. He's getting his sexual fix. Arabella's getting her, social media fix. And Terry comes back outside, with costumes fixtures. She has like a halo and horns and some other shit. I think the wig Kwame ended up wearing and shit like that. And so, they're out there talking and chit-chatting, and they start walking. And then some guy comes out and recognizes Arabella. He comes out from his store. He has on an apron and recognizes Arabella and says, oh, I enjoy your post, and they're so heartfelt, and Arabella is just hyped up. It's like a dopamine rush to get praise like this, feeling like she's doing something, feeling like she's changing the world, and all this other stuff, which is understandable. But you can't change nobody else's world till you heal yourself, because you're not taking a break. You're not doing actual self-care things that, make you feel relief from some of these emotions, like by processing them and relieving yourself of them. You're just pushing them down and using this as a balm over your pain. So anyways, Arabella stops and talks to him, and she's ranting and raving about, he's talking about how he got molested by some white man and stuff like that. And Arabella's like, oh, that's so sad, and I'm here for you, and fuck these niggas, and blah 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 blah, and all. And so Kwame is standing there, and he just walks away because she just keeps talking, and he's ready to go. Kwame walks over to Terry because Terry was ahead of them, and they're just standing there watching Arabella, and Kwame start mocking her and talking shit like, I'm here to save you, and da 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 da. And Terry's like trying to like be on the positive side. There you go. She's trying to be on the positive side and say, well, when you had a bad day, you just want somebody to agree with everything you fucking say, even if you ain't saying shit. And the shit she's saying, it's not that it's not important. It's just that it's just rants. It's just directionless rants. She skips from topic to topic, and some of them might touch people and they might enjoy it, but you see on the social media, the comments she gets is like, there are a lot of people asking her if she's okay and ask her to go to therapy and get help and all this other stupid shit. So, you could tell that, she's not saying shit, okay? There's no direction to what she's saying. Kwame calls Arabella over. He's like, come on, let's go, and da-da-da. And Arabella's like, okay, here I come. And then she's trying to take a selfie with this nigga and shit like that, trying to get as many followers as possible, like, all this type of shit. Then she goes off with Kwame and Terry. They are going to a Halloween paint and wine. That's what they call it in Great Britain. Paint and wine, not paint and sip. And when they get there, it looks enjoyable. I would want to go to a Halloween paint and wine, paint and sip, whatever. It looks fun. They dressed up, it's cute, they paint and shit, all that good stuff. So they're at the paint and wine, and Arabella picks up her phone. Terry's like, no, remember, no cell phone. So she puts her phone down. She tries to vape. Hostess comes over and is like, no, you can't do that here. No vaping. So 2 of her vices gone in one night, and she's painting. Everybody has to paint this pumpkin, and she's painting this pumpkin, and it's dark, and and it's on the black background, and it's dark, and you can tell by her art some shit's going on in her mind. Terry's painting some bright colored happy pumpkin. I forgot what Kwame was painting. Anyways, Arabella then, after the hostess comes and tells her to put her phone down or put her vape down, then picks up her phone again. And because when you have like an addiction, when you have something that is healing or covering up your pain, once it's gone, your pain is going to come surging up your neck, and you're going to be like, oh shit, I need to. So she picks up her phone again, ready to make another video post. And Terry's like, bitch, we said no phones. And Arabella's like, I'm just recording a video, I'm not gonna post it, da 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 da. And Terry's like, whatever, bitch, I'm tired of telling you what to do, you're not listening to me. So Arabella's walking around making this video talking about people of color wine and sip, and it's a movement, and paint and sip, paint and wine, where the fuck is yes. And it's a movement. People of color paint and wine. It's a movement. And Kwame and Terry just looking at each other. Kwame's like, why does she keep calling it that? And Terry's just like, I don't fucking know. Did you know that this was a movement? Like, it's just an activity that we do. I mean, if she wants to make it into a movement, it's no direction. No, we're just making shit up because it makes us feel better when people like our stuff and put comments and shit. It makes us feel loved and supported in everything we do and say, and then it makes us feel not crazy, as she was probably feeling on the inside. So Kwame is sitting there on his phone looking at niggas and shit. Some nigga texting talking about, I want to suck your dick or something. And he puts his phone down, and then Terry starts talking about the white bitch he fucked and how she was racist. I can't believe she was racist, and da da da. And Kwame's like, well, she was homophobic too. And then he goes to and tells both of them that he didn't tell this bitch he was gay before he fucked her. And Arabella goes the fuck off, bitch. I mean, she wasn't loud. She was just, angry. She had a tone. She was like, so you didn't tell her that you was gay before? You tricked her, a vulnerable woman, walking into her house. And Kwame is feeling some type of way. Kwame is trying to say, well, she kind of forced me to. She kind of made me do it. And da-da-da. The bitch grabbed your shirt. Like, you could have. I mean, okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate because shit like this does happen. Situations where you feel like it's difficult to say no, because Kwame looked all awkward in the face that night, so I'm not going to say that I don't think she forced him. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's more so like when okay, I'm a woman, I like niggas, so we're just gonna go with that. So it's like when you want to fuck a nigga, but then you don't want to fuck a nigga because you want to be a classy lady, but you really want to fuck the nigga, so you just kind of fall into the sex. You just kind of fall into it because you're horny and you want to fuck the nigga. It's your baser instincts is trying to push your way out. But the moral part of your brain, wherever the fuck that is, I'm the vodka, leave me alone, is like, no, bitch, you are a classy lady. You don't fuck these niggas. You go on dates and you get catered to. And your vagina's like, no, we want the sex. Give us the sex. And then you just kind of fall into the sex. So, and you feel fucked up the next day, like, look at what you did, bitch. Now we have to start all over again with our classiness. At least the sex was good, though. Fuck. So I think that's where Kwame was at, having that debate in his mind. But only, it wasn't like classy. It was like, I'm gay, and this is kind of triggering my trauma a little bit because it is sex, but I'm also horny. And, she's pulling me down with my shirt, so why say no? So, in his mind, because he had that dichotomy, he felt like, well, she kind of made me do it. I am a classy bitch. I don't just fuck anybody. He just made me do it. My vagina made me do it. It's not fair. So I think that is kind of where, that's probably called something. I don't fucking know. So I feel like that's kind of where he was when he was saying, well, she kind of made me do it and I didn't really want to do it and all this other shit. And I think also part of it was just he wanted to be in denial about the fact that he kind of violated her, She could have wanted a relationship with him. She might have been having fantasies in her head that this is the one black motherfucker. He let me talk to him about racist shit and he didn't say shit. He's gonna be my little black pet. Or whatever the fuck was in her little racist, homophobic mind. And she found out he was gay and it blew her fucking mind. And like the stereotype that gay people got AIDS and shit, HIV. And so she probably thinking all sorts of shit like, I have HIV now. Bitch, you wear a condom. Like, research about HIV, it's not that easily spreadable right now if you're using a condom and protection and stuff. And there's like, what's that pill, PrEP? So as soon as she found out, they got free, healthcare over that motherfucker. She could have went to a midnight clinic and got her one of them PrEP pills. And she would have been fine. She would have been fine. Do your research. But, in her mind, that was a violation. And because he didn't tell her the truth. And so, Kwame standing there shell-shocked, don't know what to say to Arabella. Terry just trying to be like, well, it was a mistake. And Arabella's like, it was a mistake that he violated her. And, they had to leave the room because Arabella was getting loud. And I think she walked out. She was going to leave. And they followed her. And then Terry looks at Arabella and she goes, well, she's like stuttering and breathing hard. I'm like, are you scared of her? Where is this fear coming from? I mean, one, have you never seen her pop off like this before and be just fucking mean and shit to niggas? Or two, does she have a pattern of popping off and being hella mean occasionally and you just have to like stand there and deal, like you feel like you have to. So that's why, since I don't necessarily know the background, I'm going to give Terry a penny and say, maybe she's afraid of this bitch. Maybe that's why she don't tell her what to do. Maybe that's why she be leaving her at the club and shit. She afraid of her. And why y'all friends? I mean, and I understand, like, when your friends do fuck shit and you work it out and figure it the fuck out, but this is some, like, toxic shit. Why are you afraid to tell her about the fact that she locked this nigga in a room with another nigga and that was crossing boundaries too? And this bitch, when she said that shit, she was like, Arabella was like, huh, what'd you say? She was like, What you mean? What you say? What you do? What? She just skirt assaulted everything. This shit was hilarious. And then she tried to gaslight Terry and be like, well, you know what? Kwame. And then Kwame looks up and then she turns back to Terry and she's like, why do you need to speak for him? He's over there. So she walks up to Kwame and just evil. And she got a devil costume on too. Just evil. Like that nigga in either she has spurts and moments like this throughout her life whenever she gets overwhelmed or upset and she gets cruel and fucked up. Or that nigga in Italy just fucked up all her emotions because she been saying fuck men on them little vlogs and shit all fucking day. Fuck these niggas, fuck the rapists, fuck all of y'all motherfuckers. And I know there are some men out there that are trash, but I don't believe all of them are trash. I just haven't seen one. Let me stop. Let me shut the fuck up. It's the vodka. Leave me alone. So, anyway, somebody's gonna come for me. I don't give a fuck. Anyways, she goes up to Kwame and then she goes, looks him dead in his eyes. His eyes are tearing up like he's about to start crying. And she looks him dead in his eyes and she goes, Kwame, did I do something to offend you? Did I do something that crossed a boundary? Please let me know. And bitch, you can see his face. He ain't gotta let you know. His face is letting you know. What the fuck is... She just made me look at this bitch in a whole different way. I've been trying to give it to this bitch this whole fucking episode, this whole fucking series. Like, she was raped. She went through shit, but you don't be cruel and fucked up like that to your friends just because you went through shit. Was you cruel and fucked up to your friends every time you went through shit? Like, let me know what kind of fucked up person you were. So, Kwame's like, you know what? You know what? I don't even remember. And then she tells him, like, Kwame, just gaslight this motherfucker. Yes, he did some fuck shit, because it was a lie. And the bitch didn't want that shit, so it was a lie. But you ain't got to gaslight and fuck over this nigga and basically make him feel like even worse. Like, you just broke into you went all to another country with $5. And you broke into this nigga's house. And then you got the audacity to talk about, oh, well, you shouldn't use your pain to hurt other people, because that's what Terry was trying to say. Like, he's been through stuff too, and he's vulnerable and all this other shit. And Arabella's like, well, you shouldn't use your pain to hurt other people. Like, okay. You broke into somebody's house. You were talking and acting like a crackhead. The man got triggered and locked you out. You tried to kick his door down. You almost got shot in Italy. But yes. So then she goes, well, Kwame, you shouldn't play the victim and then turn around and act like, you're not, and do things that show that you're not. You need to look in the mirror at yourself, because it makes people around you feel uneasy, and it makes you seem questionable or some stupid shit. I'm like, bitch. See, when we're in pain and we don't deal with the shit, we project it onto other people. And Kwame just out here fucking niggas and have a sex addiction because he was molested, then he was raped. Okay, I ain't seen him do shit wrong since the episode started. I ain't seen him be a fucked up friend. I ain't seen him do, like, fucked up shit to people. I ain't even barely seen him talk shit about people. I mean, he did talk shit about Arabella when she was talking to that guy, because he was ready to fucking go. Like, let's go. Nobody care about this shit you going on. But, like, if everybody in the show, this nigga, well, no, he didn't tell that girl he was gay, though. So, Everybody got problems. Everybody got problems. Like, he went and had sex with this girl and used her as a guinea pig for his experiment to see if he could just fuck bitches now, since he doesn't want to be around men because he was sexually assaulted. Like, you can't be using bitches as guinea pigs to see if you're not gay anymore. Like, that's not right. I mean, I don't fucking know. I don't, and so Arabella's talking about herself, and she's projecting it onto Kwame. She walks out and she's walking around and she's just on social media like, she's trying to vape and her vape doesn't work. So she walks across the street to the bar and she asks some lady for her external charger. And she tries to charge her vape. It doesn't work. And so her vape is not working. So one of her vices aren't working. And then some bald dude comes up to her and is like, oh, I like your wings or your horns or some shit. And she's like, oh, you thought you could come up and talk to me? She said something like that, but that's the shit I was saying. Don't come up and talk to me. Oh, I'm so mean. I'm so mean if I'm not interested in you. I'm so mean. I'll just be like looking at you like, no. I've done that before. Niggas come up and talk to me and I just look at them, analyze their face, their demeanor, how they're carrying themselves, and just be like, no. And they just look at me like, oh, like what? No, I don't feel the aura. Our auras aren't connected. Oh my God. So this dude is like, oh, I thought we had the same haircut, so I thought I could make conversation. And Arabella's not listening to him anymore. She walking off on her phone again because her vape doesn't work. So now she's on social media, just popping off at fuck men, the trash, the rapists, the racists, all the motherfuckers in the world is trash. Everybody's trash. And then she got people like commenting on her live talking about, oh, we stand you, queen. And then we got niggas that want to see her titties. And she like, I don't want to show you my fucking... And then she like snaps out of it and starts talking about ranting again. And then she got people on there asking her if she's okay. She needs therapy. And then she got motherfuckers on there talking about, fuck you, bitch. You ain't shit. Fuck your life, hoe. And she just like in a daze on social media. And I think at some point she blacked out. Did she black out? Because she ended up at her therapist's house, and I was just looking at this like, I wish a client would just end up at my shit at nighttime on Halloween of all the nights of all. I'm not the one for random people showing up in my vicinity. No, bitch. I carry a knife. I carry a taser. I've been through shit, okay? I might black out from my own trauma that is, there's some unresolved shit inside of me. And I might black out from my own trauma and fuck you, client or not. Don't do that. But apparently there's an emergency number and the therapist is on call and she got to talk to the therapist that night. Is that how it works in Britain? I know there's some British people on here, okay? And there's free healthcare. And thank you for watching. That's amazing. There's people across the pond. No, I'm in California. across the land masses and then the pond. Oh, I guess vodka makes me giggle. I don't know. Are there emergency on-call therapists that you can just call any day of the week, any night, and they will let you just come and have a session? Let me know, because y'all got free healthcare. I think, maybe. Do you? I think everybody got free healthcare except for us. I think they do. I think they got. Let me know. Is that a thing? Just like in P Valley, we got midnight realtors and shit. Like, I'm not meeting you. I'm not meeting you at nighttime. What the fuck you mean? So now we got like midnight therapists. Just, social workers are on call, like if there's an emergency. But this therapist just happened to be on call. So she ends up at the therapist. And the therapist is like, sometimes, we don't want to deal with our emotions. So we push all of our challenging emotions. So we push everything down underneath. Because Bella was talking about how she had went and got her rape bags and the case was closed, and she had put her rape bags under her bed and all this other stupid shit. And so the therapist is kind of using that as a metaphor for hiding all of your challenging emotions away. And she's saying that you need to face these emotions in order to know yourself. And she draws a little picture with A on top and then a line, and then underneath is all the challenging shit that Arabella doesn't want to face yet. You know? And so she goes there. I'm glad. Because I've been asked this whole episode, why the fuck ain't she going to therapy? Why she stopped going to therapy? But this whole show, she been trying to push shit down, find quick reliefs, not face what's really going on with her, doing toxic, hurtful shit to herself and others. You know, all the things that are not okay, that people do when they're traumatized, that are still not okay. You know, some people just decide to just go to therapy and stay in therapy and not do hurtful shit. At least don't do hurtful shit to others, you know. Don't do hurtful shit to yourself, but especially not to others. They didn't do nothing they didn't do nothing to you. Don't bring other people into your shit. Go get help. So, you know, Arabella then decides that she's going to, because her bed, underneath her bed is a metaphor for all the shit that she's trying to push down. So she decides to go back home. And Ben is there, the roommate. It's been real. I have a question. Because I technically have not seen other people, directly address Ben except for Bella. Like, even in the first episode, Arabella, when she got back from Italy, you know, and she went to the living room with Terry and Ben, and they all smoked weed. Did Terry ever actually address Ben, or was she just talking to Arabella? I wouldn't know if Ben is real, because here's the thing. Arabella is reaching under her bed, pulling out, you know, her rape bags and shit, and then she pulls out this little abortion bag with the abortion baby picture on it, and apparently at some point she had an abortion. And Ben is standing there asking her what she doing, is she okay? And she's just like, I'm trying to release my demons and shit. And he's like, well, and then he sees her pull the abortion bag out and look at it, and she was just like, you know, this didn't feel good or some shit like that. And he said, well, sometimes we have to do things that don't feel good in order to feel good or some shit. And then she sees her other self in the chair, and her other self basically repeated what she said to Kwame back to her, because she was talking about her fucking self. And how she needs to look in the mirror, and how she's making herself out to be this ultimate victim, and she's making people uncomfortable. So I feel like it's been real. It's been a real person, or is he in her mind? Let me know. What do y'all think? Next, I don't even know if there was a knock on the door, because Ben walks out and then Terry walks in with Ben. I don't know if Terry doesn't talk to Ben though. So I don't know if Terry just walked herself in, or if Ben opened the door for her. Do y'all think Ben is real? I have questions and concerns, because now I'm just like, is Ben a real person? I really want to know, like, and don't spoil it. If they tell it in the next few episodes and shit, don't spoil it, because that'd be fucked up. But I'm questioning if Ben is real. So Terry walks in, and then Arabella apologizes to Terry and says that she's just been on one because some shit is wrong with her. And then she asks Terry where Kwame is, and Kwame is out in the kitchen because he was scared that Arabella didn't want to talk to him and shit. And Arabella goes and apologizes to Kwame for being intense and fucked up and shit like that. And then Kwame goes off to another booty call. You know, all of this sex, I mean, I guess he's using protection and shit, so, you know, it just seems like it's a lot. But to each his own. I mean, everybody has their own pathway to healing. It's none of my business. It's none of my fucking business. So then Terry helps Arabella, unpack her bags, literally and figuratively, as far as the shit that she got under the bed from the rape kit. And then asks Arabella, because she's standing over the bed looking at the rape kit shit. And she, like, is looking like, it's kind of fucking her up to look at it. So she doesn't want to go through it completely yet. So then she asks Arabella if she would like to go, like, what would she want? What does she need right now? And so Arabella says she want to go for a walk. Her and Terry go for a walk in these fucking heels. And my thing is, they walked hella far. They walked hella far. I have bad knees, the ankles. It just hurt watching it. I was just like, that looks like it hurts. But anyways, Arabella goes back to the bar where she was sexually assaulted, and she sits outside. And she just looks in the window. We're in the belly of the beast right now, So she is going back. So I don't know. Maybe next week where she's going to Cape Crusade and try to find her rapist. Maybe she's just trying to acclimate herself to the place that she was sexually assaulted and get out those emotions. Who knows? Who knows? But it's an interesting thing that she went back to. It took a lot of strength to do that. I'm not mad at her. But, that was the end of the episode. So, what y'all think? Y'all think Arabella has been periodically mean whenever bad shit happens throughout her life and in this friendship? Or do you think that because of what Italy nigga did, she just came back hating every fucking body and went on a rampage? Because she said she was intense. She apologized for being intense. So, I'm leaning towards she just was mad about what Italy nigga did and went on a rampage for everybody and fuck niggas and all this other shit. And then, do you think Ben is real? Do you think he's a real person? I have this feeling that he's not a real person. He just keep popping in and popping out, and then like he always got some random philosophical thing to say, like he's a little angel on her shoulder or some shit. I need to know, and I ain't seen nobody address this nigga except for Bella, and then when Terry came, I didn't hear nobody knocking on the door. How did he know they was out there? I think that Ben might not be real, y'all. Her roommate, the white man, whoever the fuck he is. Apparently he might not be gay. I don't fucking know. I thought he was gay just because, most of the time when you have a male roommate, and you're a woman, they be gay just because, for safety reasons and shit, because niggas is crazy. But, earlier in the episode, she put this hashtag after he came to her room. And she put this hashtag talking about, I hate straight white guys and shit. And so I'm assuming she was talking about him because he came to check on her and asked her if she was okay or whatever. I think Ben ain't real. What y'all think? But yes. Later days.